Howdy folks, this is Nate, and the answer to the question I'm sure you're all asking is no. I'm not lying. I actually do have the Nikon D3x here with me today. Now, first thing you need to understand is this is obviously not mine. I'm borrowing this from someone who borrowed it from someone, and I'm extremely grateful for the opportunity to bring this magnificent piece of engineering to you guys through YouTube. So let's get right into it. So I'm going to do this review in two parts. The first half is just going to be showing you around the camera itself and showing you where things are, what it does, and that kind of thing. The second half of the review is going to be my personal thoughts on the camera, things that I have noticed and my feelings on it in general. So expect to see this review in two parts. So the first thing you guys need to realize about this camera is how big it actually is. Here I have it sitting next to my D90. And you can see that even with the battery grip on the D90, it's still humongous. I mean, it's obviously a lot wider than the D90 because it has a much bigger LCD screen on the top. I'm sure you can see the size difference there. The other thing which you can notice, especially if I turned around, is the size of the viewfinders on here. I mean, there's the viewfinder for the D3X, and yeah, there's the viewfinder for the D90, and the reason it's so much larger is because obviously the D3X is a full frame camera, which means it has to have a lot bigger mirrors inside of it to give you full coverage with the viewfinder so you can actually see what you're doing. A couple other things to note about the D3X is obviously since it's a pro camera, it has the battery grip built in down here on the side. And let me tell you, this thing fits your hand like a glove. It's wonderful. The indentations right here for the fingers just go in exactly the right spot, as does the swish, right here on the back of the camera. If I had to shoot a Nikon D3X all day, it would be like putting on a glove, and it's as simple as that. It's such an easy camera to shoot with. Whereas the D90 has the extra grip. I mean, it's still not that uncomfortable, but it's certainly not as ergonomically designed as the D3X is. In addition to that, as far as ergonomics are concerned, the D90 has the shutter button it has a hard stop when you click it. This is like spring loaded or something. So it just takes a casual flick of the finger to take a picture. Okay, so now I'm just going to hold the camera up to the video camera just so you can see different things where they are on the camera. Here's the playback and delete buttons right here. This little thing is you probably can't see it. Oh, there you go. It's a viewfinder lock button to avoid light coming back in through the viewfinder for long exposures. The metering button I find is actually kind of funny. There's the autofocus. There we go. The metering switch is right here. You push it in with your thumb and twist it to whichever one you like. There is no little wheel over here to select which exposure mode you want. Since this is a pro camera, all you got to hold down the button right there that says mode right there. Hold it down and you get S, A, M, and P, program, shutter, aperture, and manual. No need for anything else on a camera at this level. So right down here is the ISO button. Hit that, and on this secondary little LCD, actually it says it on the top here too, you would hit this and there it is, and just pick your ISO. Now, the thing about the D3X though, watch how high the ISO goes. Oh, 1600. Well, the reason that is because there's so many megapixels that anything above that would be pretty nasty. You can get it to high 2, which don't really know what that is. Don't know it's probably 6400. To be 6400 is as high as you could go, which, might I note, is the standard ISO of the regular D3. Just a thought. Right down there next are the quality buttons where you pick, RAW, JPEG, whatever you want, and your white balance. And this little nifty little sucker down here is a microphone button, so you can actually record comments to your photos. Alright, and right here are the different autofocus mode switches. Go from the full 51 autofocus points, dynamic mode, and single point. And if you want to change your autofocus drive, you'd go right down here to the side, CS&M, continuous, single, and manual. Just give it a flick, and it's right there near the
the lens release. These little flaps right here are for connecting like a shutter release, cable release right there for other kinds of things like that. Okay, and right up top here we have the knob where one would typically, at least on the D90, find the exposure mode knob. On here you have bracketing, flash settings, and if I'm completely honest, I don't know what the L does. Because if I go over here on the LCD and scroll it, that little L right there near 250 pops up. Not exactly sure what it does. I'll have to try to find that out for you. Okay, back along the side here are the buttons that you would traditionally expect to find. There's the menu button. There's way too many things in here for me to go into on this review. Since this is obviously the most professional camera money can buy, there's just so much stuff in here you can use to change things. This button right here is for if you're reviewing your images, such as this one I've just snapped at the top of my camera. You would hit it, hold it down, then you would use the shutter dial, and you'd roll, and you would zoom in. And you can, that's how you zoom. There's no tap, 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 tap like there is on the D90 or other cameras. That's just how you've got to do it. Then you just zoom back out, and there you go. If you have more than one picture, which unfortunately I do not, you would roll this backwards, and you would get a multiple shot frame on the back of the camera. Okay, this button right here has a threefold purpose. Obviously, as you can see, it's the lock if you want to protect a picture. You go up here, and you'd click lock, and now it's protected, so you can't accidentally delete it. Additionally, you could hit this, and it will bring up your info screen that tells you everything, essentially like the D90s, which was sort of down here. And it also would bring up, if I can figure it out here, hit the question mark, and it shows you exactly what a given setting means. So I've got lock up mirror for cleaning right there, and that just tells you what it does. And over here is the memory card release. You flick that, press the button, and you can grab your memory card. And just like the D3, you can use 2 CF cards in here at a time. And somewhere deep in the menu system, you can set them to one file type versus another for each card, or you can set it to overflow, where when one card fills up, you can just switch right over to the other one. Different things like that. Here's obviously the mode knob where you select everything. Lock for single point focus. Autofocus, auto exposure lock right there. This one I love. Watch what it does. You gotta look right here. You can focus, you can use the autofocus on the back of the camera. And if I'm honest, that is something I really wish my D90 had. And of course, there's one right there for if you're using the vertical grip. And man, I'm telling you, I love this right here. It's a simple little thing, but it's the simple things. I really wish my D90 had one of these, because this is a cool little function right here, in my opinion.
I should note that the D3x only has a modest, I think it's 5 frames per second. Don't have the numbers in front of me, but I think it's 5 frames per second, which isn't exactly slow, if I'm honest. And I'll tell you one thing, that is a seductive noise right there. I mean, certainly not worth $8,000, but maybe 7. Just kidding. It's got a lot more immediate kind of metallic professional sound than the D90, and certainly more so than the D40X, which I used to have. That thing was just was the shutter. This thing, wow. I know I sound like an idiot, but personally I think that's really cool.